Welcome to the One Big Nation video podcast. This episode features Paul Mataruse, Vice President of the Matanho Project.
So now let's switch and talk about Matanho Project and about how that concept or that project came into being.
The Women's Fund.
The Women's Fund in particular. And how you chose to run that business model.
The Women's Fund was really born out of, we'd hosted, at that time we were still kind of in the process of applying for visas for a Zimbabwean group, Mawungira Enharira, that we were going to bring to the United States. And it's a group of 7 guys who came on tour to the United States, all of them with wives back home. And they were going to be here making all this money, and then they were going to take it back to Zimbabwe. So initially we had suggested, why not take a percentage of what these guys make and keep it here and start a women's fund for their wives and make sure that their wives actually see a direct benefit from their husbands having been here. Now it ended up that it didn't quite work as I had wanted it to work, where we were going to withhold some of the funds from the musicians in order to give to their wives to start projects. The politics of immigration kind of overrode what I intended. So then we said, with Matanho Project, which was the organization that had brought these musicians here, why not just establish a fund and not keep it to the musicians' wives, but open it to any woman in Zimbabwe who's got a business idea to come in and get a loan from us, with the caveat that the loan had to be small enough for them to actually pay back the money. So the business model became that somebody would make a business proposal, and then would look at it and not be business consultants, because we figure if we were business consultants, then we might as well be the ones making the money rather than telling other people how to do it. But then to see the soundness of the business proposal in the sense of, can somebody actually pay back with what they're proposing? Pay back the money. So we give them $300 to $500, and they pay back over a period of 1 year at an interest rate. Right now it's at about 15% over the 1 year. So they have, depending on their project, whether it's like durable goods, buying and selling type of thing, or services, they obviously, once they borrow the money, they have to ramp up their production, right? And then start selling whatever service or product they have. And then once they start making money, then pay us back at a predictable time frame. So the idea that we have, and the reason for having the interest rate right now is arbitrary at 15%, because we don't know what the situation will be like in terms of these women paying back. There's not very much experience with microcredit programs in Zimbabwe. Some other parts of Africa, yes, but not in Zimbabwe, because the economy has been swinging back and forth for so long that we don't know if the women are going to be able to pay it back. And the other thing is, we have an administrator in Zimbabwe that coincidentally is getting paid 15% of our initial investment into Zimbabwe, which is why we decided to charge the women 15% over the period of a year, because we want to maintain a constant level of investment with the Women's Fund without dipping into it in order to pay an administrator. So the interest that's paid back by the women will go towards the cost of administration of the program.
What is the market now like in Zimbabwe, and what do you think is, where are there avenues for selling the goods?
A lot of it is through informal channels, because even though things are still are now widely available in the stores, there's a lot of buying and selling in informal channels. Like, for example, some women have made very good business of traveling into South Africa and some as far as Dubai to get accessories for hair, makeup, and things like that, and come back and either sell them to small beauty salons or larger stores that will then sell them to small beauty salons. So it's depending on the volume that you want to access. The avenues can be as formal as going into a grocery store and paying with a bank card, or as informal as knocking on somebody's door and asking for a little tube of makeup and, and you pay your money.
Okay, great. And so it was born out of wanting to help the wives of the musicians, and that was because you feel like there'd be a problem. What did the women like give up by allowing their husbands, or by their husbands going and,
Absolutely.
and traveling? What is the cost there to them?
Oh yeah, well, significant social cost, because some of the husbands were the primary breadwinners when they were in Zimbabwe, and now here we are asking them to come out of Zimbabwe and come here on tour. So we felt it was a good thank you to the women to say, here, we know you let us enjoy your musicianship for the past four months, but here's something for you to start, the business that you've always wanted to start. And the second part of it was that throughout the developing world, when men make the significant share of income in the household, the development is much, much less than what women do. Because the women tend to think of, do I have school fees for the kids for next term? Do I have seeds for next planting season? Before they think, I'm going to go get a beer with my buddy with this money that I just made. I mean, it's just the reality of the developing world. So we figured if at least we had an opportunity for the women to participate in their husband's success with the tour here, then we could have buy-in from them the following year if we wanted to bring them back again, rather than if we brought them here, we brought men here and they went back to Zimbabwe and within a couple of months the funds had vanished, which they did anyways now, because I wasn't able to convince everybody that we needed to withhold some money to start the movement fund for that. But fortunately, everybody else in Matanho saw that while they were the tour was successful financially for the musicians, the money was not spent wisely in Zimbabwe because the women did not really have a direct investment into this is what our family can do with this money that we brought from the United States. So we figured, let's start a women's fund where rather than just the musicians' wives, any woman can submit a proposal. And if we feel like it's a sound enough proposal to where it'll pay back into the fund, then yes, we'll fund it. But also recognizing that, you know, we have limited funds right now, so obviously we're not able to fund everything, but we are continually putting things in the back banner of saying this is fundable. It's a fundable project. Maybe in our next cycle, once people start paying back the loans in our next cycle, we're going to fund the proposal. Like for example, we have this thing where right now the ones that are on our next docket, if you will, are all poultry projects, where 4 different women submitted proposals to raise poultry and sell to other families and to other providers in the community. But all 4 programs were very different in terms of cost analysis, cost structure, and actual business acumen among the women. So we decided not to fund any of them right now, but put them as a group, the 4 women, where one has had experience actually doing the business. They know that you can't just buy one batch of chickens, raise them, and sell them all, because once they're sold, you don't have anything that's been growing. So one has the experience. Another one has the infrastructure. They've actually built chicken coops before and all these things. Another one is the business acumen of saying, this is where you price something if you've put in resources of this much. So the 4 women are going to talk, and then they're going to develop their business. Before they get money from us, they're going to talk and actually develop a nice business plan of saying, now we have money, let's go and do the business the way we talked about doing it. Which is kind of nice that we have that luxury that these women who know a lot individually but maybe not enough to actually run the whole business are now talking and sharing ideas before we start funding.
Awesome. Well, I think that's wonderful, and an awesome interview, and thank you so much for all that time and all that input. That was great.
For more of the best in world music and folk art, visit us at www.onebignation.com.